I know. I know.
Gay!
Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank for, what is this, attempt number 5 at recording this video. Majorly depressing audio challenges. Had like a weird ringing in the background of when I played this recording, and I just, whatever. So anyway, Rogue, I'm kind of done. So the premise here is the Doctor and Ruby arrive in, what was it, 19th century. Hang on, I'm gonna care just enough to actually get the date for this. All right. Oh wait, I want to save that video. All right. 19th century. Apparently, the War of 1812 is happening at this time. But anyway, the Doctor and Ruby arrive in high society, and luckily, this story takes place. Like, this episode starts with them having already fitted in, got the costumes and whatnot. And you know what? They all look good. And as you do when this sort of thing happens, it turns out something mysterious is going on. As we saw earlier in the prelude to this episode, that someone's going around killing guests and taking their appearance. All right, this is a new species, well, a new monster. The monster of the week is called the Cholder. All right, and hilarity ensues. Actually, I'd call it hilarity, but what really happens is we watch the 15th Doctor get horny. It's kind of it. Like, I hate to downplay it like that, but really, like, as soon as he sees the Rogue, the bounty hunter, he's like, "Hello, look at you with a smolder." I'm like, okay, weird. Meanwhile, Ruby sort of attempts to see the inner working of high society, and it all just sort of falls apart. And I mean that because this could be a very interesting episode, because if you have a species that kills people and takes the form of their victims, then, and you're doing it in this sort of setting, what you really do have then is a almost critique of society and how posh people act versus how they really are, and how you really can't tell just from someone's public perception, like how they conduct themselves in public. What was that line from Sirius Black in The Goblet of Fire? If you want to see who a man really is, see how he treats his inferiors, not his equals, that sort of thing. The idea that, we each have different faces and different modes. Certain faces we don't show people in public. Okay? I can get behind that. That doesn't happen. What happens is, for the entirety of the episode, Ruby talks to some unimportant person who turns out to be one of the monsters, who turns out just as bad as everybody else thinks, as the rest of them. And the Doctor spends time trying to just flirt with the bounty hunter Rogue. That's kind of it. And the reason, like I said, so I need to separate how I felt the episode should have been versus what the episode is. And really, that's kind of it. All right, what this story really is the Doctor finding someone pretty early on that this incarnation is considered like being with. Like, the case here being that Ruby is the obligatory, companion that the Doctor meets. This is someone different. And really what it is it's just another Captain Jack Harkness. That's kind of it. Like, let's call it what it is. And the reason I'm focusing so much on this is because really there's not much else to go on. So it turns out the Cholder, what they do. Am I saying that right? I do care enough to make sure I'm saying these names right. Let's see here. Cholder, yes. The Cholder, all they really want is to sow chaos. There's nothing they want. They don't want the planet. They don't want to wipe anything out. They're not going for a bigger war, which is fine. Not everything has to be part of a bigger grand scheme. Although we do get the obligatory, hey, there's this lady on the wall, her pictures on the wall. We've seen this lady everywhere else. Um, there's that. And of course, that's kind of it, really. They just really like to latch on to strong personalities. So this was another episode. This was an audio of Doctor Who, too, about these aliens that really think they're superior, and then they find out what the Doctor is, and all of a sudden he gets to do whatever he wants. I don't... I think the problem is, at the end of the day, for me, this episode is just sort of a wash. Like, there's a great idea, great premise. It's not explored enough in a way that I like. So I kind of just have to... What was the word, Hound?
You're whinging about.
Okay, fine, but I'm not. I'm just...
Your lips are moving and you're complaining about something. That's whinging.
Fine. I am, and I'm not going to stop. So, actually, you know what? I'll meet halfway. All right? So, the big deal here is, for at least, depending on who you ask, is the fact that the Doctor and Rogue kiss. All right? And it's a sort of passionate kiss. These two have been low-key, like, flirting and digging each other the whole time. It actually is at Rogue's, as a service to Rogue's character, because halfway through, it's just sort of like his character. All right? He just follows the Doctor around. There's no back and forth. There's no interesting rapport between the two of them. Just him going, oh yeah, he's nice. And they do have a kiss. And the kiss is really weird, because while Rogue does the kiss to trick the Doctor and save Ruby, Ruby just sort of forced to watch this as her life is in danger. And the Doctor's kissing this dude. It just, to me, didn't work. But in terms of, like, the kiss, people have also been going around with, hey, this isn't new. Captain Jack kissed, the Ninth Doctor in 2005. Well, see, the thing is, in 2005, there's no actual romance between, or even beginning, between Nine and Harkness. There isn't. If anything, the understanding be there's a romance possibly growing between Nine and Rose, and possibly Nine and Captain Jack. Rose and Captain Jack. Oh, Freudian slip, or whatever. Also, this kiss here is under the implication that they won't see each other again, because he's going to go fight the Daleks while the Ninth Doctor tries to work out a plan. So, yeah, there's that. Then we go through other relationships. This is not the first, even that one's not the only same-sex kiss in Doctor Who. There's Jenny and Vastra, who my issue with that one is they don't really sort of want to point out the fact that for the time period, they can't publicly be together. But I think that would have made their relationship more interesting if they have to sort of address that. Like, hey, look, there's a lot of danger we're in, and all I have is these small moments where we're actually married. Like, and it's just when we're together. I don't get to walk down the street holding my wife's hand. I can't do that. So there's that. But, nothing comes from that. Then there's Girl in the Fireplace, which this episode kind of just wants to be. Which is what Russell's been doing for the most part for this season, is retracing a lot of his best hits. This isn't even his. Moffat wrote this. And the thing is, with the Girl in the Fireplace, I get why she falls for the Doctor. I don't get why the Doctor falls for her, outside the fact that, dear God, is she beautiful. Yeah, I just don't get that. So yeah, I'm gonna critique that too. Oh, I like the Girl in the Fireplace. It's a nice prelude to the 11th Doctor and Amy's era, but with romance. Then we have 12 and River. I say 12 and River because that's like the best it ever gets. Like 11 and River is sort of, it feels kind of forced. Like River is sort of dropped in the Doctor's lap. Like River sort of realized she's been engineered to kill the Doctor. Then the Doctor, proves to be amazing, and she's a psychopath engineered to kill him, so she falls for him. As you do. Star Wars did this better, I think. And even the Diary of River song has not been that appealing to me in terms of how she reacts with other Doctors. So, yeah, best ship for the Doctor is still Charlotte Elspeth Pollard. So, there we go. 11 and Clara, look, I'll admit, I like 11 and Clara, but I'm also kind of glad it didn't happen. Then, of course, there's the 10th Doctor's John Smith and Nurse Redfern. It's a whole thing there, too. He's like, Doctor romances just feel sort of weird because they really only exist within the confines of that incarnation. You know, the 11th Doctor was right, which in the privacy of your own regeneration is your own business. But from like an overall storytelling perspective, how are we going to say Nurse Redfern and the Doctor is more significant than 12 and River, or 10 and Rose, or 10 and Madame de Pompadour? Actually, 10's just kind of a man whore. Or 11 and Marilyn Monroe, because that happened, you know. Or the Doctor and Yaz, or the 13th Doctor and Yaz, you know. At what point do we just go, you know, maybe we just stop doing this? Also, knowing the fact that, hey, the Doctor's been married before. Like, before he left Gallifrey, he had a wife. You know, presumably she died. And he traveled with his granddaughter Susan. So implying not only did he have a wife, he had a child and a family. You know, there's a whole life this incarnation's had. And I've been having this issue pretty much the whole time whenever this sort of romance comes up. I'm like, the Doctor just... No. And with this incarnation is way more emotional, and I'm not meaning that as bad, but he's more open with how he feels. So, you know, I think it would have been interesting if he was like, you know what, had I been a different man, or had I been a younger man, I would definitely have gone for that, you know. And you know, even have Ruby ask like, well, why don't you? It's like, you know, I've already had my great romances, you know. I don't need this one. And you can even still do the kiss thing too, but you know, there's less of an obvious flirting for the sake of just making this the whole premise of the episode. Even wondering if we took the idea of courtly love too and gone. There's like a whole bunch of fun directions the episode could have gone instead of just the Doctor gushing after Rogue and Rogue all of a sudden just stopped being interesting. And am I the only one who thinks Rogue looks like Ted, like, wow. His wow. Name's gone. Wow. It is. It's legit gone. Tucker Carlson. Like, I think he looks like Tucker Carlson. But, yeah, like, and hold on. There is something I did that I actually objectively didn't like. And this could be easy fix. Why aren't these incarnations in order? Like, why? And apparently Richard E. Grant is in this too, so we've confirmed the Schalke Doctor. So why are we doing that? I don't know. And where's David Warner? Again, why is it out of order? That upsets me more than anything. Alright, so you know what? I'm kinda done whinging. So, yeah, with that in mind, let's bring this to a close here. If you're new to the Bucket, thank you. Feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. All those fun things, and I will catch you all later. What did you guys think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Am I just complaining a bit too much? Well, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And, yeah, I will catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your fandom serve you well.